Everybody, welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder, sitting here with two comedians known in the game from Fig and Talent. These guys have been in the comedy business for such a long time. They've been in comedy film, comedy TV shows, comedy festivals, comedy tours, everything related to comedy that you can name. They even do their own little comedy social media commentary type of stuff. They do live broadcasts. They do all of that type of stuff. They're interacting now on something called Clubhouse. They ain't tell a brother, but that's a whole other conversation. So, first of all, I gotta say, how you guys doing today? How you doing, Fig? How you doing?
Hey, first of all, you was doing good till you said little. They got their own little thing over there.
Yeah, I did that purposely because y'all slighted me.
I want to be little.
Nah.
You don't want that, man. You don't want that.
I don't want that. Oh, that ain't the kind. I want that kind of little Paul.
All jokes aside, though, y'all doing big up the big things, and except the little, clubhouse things that y'all haven't included me, and I'm hating on you. Clubhouse is a new thing. We'll talk about that later. But let's jump into the show like we always do. We always start out with talking about the COVID report, and I gotta say, for the first time in 100 years, the Indiana Hoosiers and the Purdue Boilermakers will not be playing in the old Oaken Bucket because of COVID thing. That's a basketball rivalry that's been going on for 101 years. Actually, it's not happening. Why? COVID. Seems like both players on both teams have COVID. And also, a news item that I missed, that I forgot to mention that I actually was watching on Saturday was about basketball player Keontae Johnson. He collapsed, and no one's saying officially it was because of COVID, but he had COVID. He collapsed on the court. He was induced in a coma. He woke up last night. He's doing much better. So, I have to obviously, say something about that because we all three of us are here old enough to remember when you hear about people collapsing on the basketball court, first thing you think of is Hank Gathers. You know what I mean? Yeah. I personally think of Hank Gathers and my man Reggie Lewis. Reggie and I were really tight in college, so I things like that comes to me immediately to mind. So I'll throw the question out there before we jump into the football thing out there, man. Talent, do you think college basketball players should even be balling? Because we've had this discussion before, but now you have a star player who's leading it. I think it was the SEC star player. Yeah. And we mentioned star players. This dude literally was in an induced coma Saturday night up into Sunday morning. And luckily, as of last night, he came out of it. I don't think the risk is worth the reward. So, Talent, what you think?
No, I mean, I'll say it again. I said it 100 times. Our position has not changed. As much as I love sports and want to see cats play and get their groove on, I think that when we're dealing with kids, until you go pro, I'm going to consider you a kid. And even some pros I still consider kids, but I get it, grown men making decisions. But I'm against it. I've been against it with college football. I would be against it in any college sport because these are kids. Your whole life is ahead of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think this decision making right here can influence and definitely determine your future going forward. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I don't like it at all either. Fig, you have expressed a lot of times, being that your grandfather, your father, you've expressed a lot of times that it's ridiculous. When you hear something like that, does that hit home to you, like strike a chord to you, thinking that could be your son, your grandson, like what I mean? What's the
I got a nephew that's playing right now, man. And it's kind of weird, man, because this kid, he had COVID a while ago and supposedly had gotten over it.
Right.
And this was a residual effect of the virus. He had no symptoms. He wasn't COVID positive, whatever. It's just that this thing does things to your body even after it's over. And you do not know how or where or how, in any way how it affects you.
You can call it, yeah. You can't call
it. It does hit home, man. And I just...
It's scary.
Yeah, because you just don't know. The government doesn't know. The doctors don't know. There's so many variables to this thing. And unfortunately, we live in a culture and a climate in a country where it's like business and money first. And it's sad.
Yeah, I can only imagine his mother sitting, or his father sitting there watching the game and seeing him collapse on the court. I can't even imagine because, like I said, I'm old enough to remember when Hank Gathers was on the court and he actually died. So I can't even imagine the thought process going on to your mother. But let's change the subject. Let's get into some other things. Let's lift the spirits up because I'm not trying to bring the spirits down on the show. After all, it's a comedy show. So let me jump into last night's game. Was the Ravens in Baltimore. Now, I did something I normally don't do. Talent. I did something I normally don't do. When the team, when the Ravens went up 28-14, I said, "Oh man, this game is over." I stopped watching it. You know what I mean? I'm kicking myself. When I saw the score, I saw the recap. I was like, "What? You're kidding me." So the first question I will say to you is, after you saw last night's game, right? Is Lamar Jackson back to his MVP form? Because he was all over the highlights this morning.
I mean, he was. I can't judge by one game. Again, we have to see them consecutively become consistent again. Last year they had a really nice consistency to the team. Now we're seeing spurts and sporadic appearances, if you will. It's almost like he's guest starring, like a cameo in a movie. like when you're looking at a movie, cameo, that's Joe Pesci. You know what I mean? That type of thing. We need to see him star in a movie like he did the last movie. The last movie, he was the star. We were arguing at the end of the season, who's the MVP, who's going to the Super Bowl. We ain't seeing that this year. This year, guest appearances, co-star, cameo appearances. Where is the star? So I'm not going to give him that yet.
Okay, Fig, are you giving it to him, Dad? Do you think Lamar Jackson's back to his MVP form?
He was back to his MVP form last night.
Mm-hmm.
But last night only, it was like, yo, man, I didn't even know Lamar Jackson was in this movie.
Right. Right.
Yeah, man, Lamar Jackson, man, it was so crazy last night, man. He was playing so good that the Cleveland organization spiked his Gatorade with a laxative and sent him to the bathroom in the fourth quarter. And he was back there. He talked about he had cramps and nah. You had the doodle. I know the doodle walk when I see it. Did you see the way he walked? Did you see the way he walked off the field? That was like I had to go. Where his legs were stiff and he had the tight butt and he was scooting across the and he went to the bathroom and it was a long one too, because he was in there for a minute. You know what I mean? He was in there for a good while, man, letting that one out. And when he came back, he was all light and refreshed. They handed him his helmet. He went back in the game and set it on fire.
See, I missed all of it. I ain't gonna.
Oh my God, you had to see it, Frank. It was beautiful.
I missed all of it. I'm really mad. When I woke up this morning, I was really mad. I missed all of it. So I guess let me flip the script and let me ask you: do you think Baker Mayfield now has made you a believer? Because 2 weeks in a row he had two amazing games. You know what I mean? And last week he won, and this week even though he brought them back and tied the score and they lost. Is he make you a believer now? Like, they're gonna do something?
But I mean, we were believers of and not just him, but Cleveland, period, kind of looked like they got it together 3-4 weeks in. We were I remember I started betting on Cleveland 3-4 weeks in, like, yo, they here to play. You know what I mean? Between him, when Odell was doing his thing, the team just came together. They was getting stops, the defense was playing. I'm like, you know what? They might not be the best team in the league, but you could put some money on them. Like, they're gonna play 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. So he's shining as they go along, but hey, don't take no credit away from the team. He can't do what he do without that line doing what it's doing.
Right. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that one. Faye, what you think?
I like what Cleveland is doing, man. I would have bet on them if it would have been early in the season or a regular game. I mean, it was a regular season game, but the thing is to me is that the Ravens have fallen off so much that they were basically playing for their playoff lives. It's like they had more to play for last night than Cleveland, and that's why I picked. That's the main reason why I picked Baltimore, because if they would have lost last night, their playoff hopes would have been over.
Okay. Now, I heard a question posed this morning. The question was, who's the most dangerous teams, the Browns or the Ravens? Now, I thought it was a great question, Talent, because to me, I don't think the Ravens are going to be as consistent. But also, I think the Browns don't really have a great defense. But if I had to put money on the team, I don't think the Ravens are going to be consistent, completely all the way through. I just don't think they're going to do it. So I think the most dangerous team is going to be the Browns. That's what I'm thinking. So what do you think, Talent?
Did you say if you had to put money on it, Frank?
If I had to put money on it.
I agree, Frank. I think the most interesting team is the Browns. Again, like they were supposed, you got to realize a season ago, it was the bottom. They was the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They was the bottom. So it was a running joke. Don't let Cleveland beat you. You know what I mean? Like, you let Cleveland beat you. So now to come all the way from the bottom to actually being in contention and giving people problems, way more interesting.
Yeah, bro. And without OBJ, people I tend to forget to mention that. Can you imagine with OBJ where they would be at? But anyway, Fig, let me ask you the question. The most dangerous team in the playoffs coming up right now between the Browns and the Ravens, who would you pick would be the most dangerous team? Would it be the Browns, with Baker Mayfield balling out the way he is, or would it be Lamar Jackson the way he might be turning back into MVP form?
It pains me to say this, man, but I have to say Cleveland. I always like to bet on black. I like to bet on the brothers and stuff like that. But the overall team play is it's got to be Cleveland, simply because they seem to be better on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. Their running game seems to be better with those two running backs they got back there. Their defense even though, Lamar Jackson is just special. If he gets a little more help, the Ravens are going to be unbeatable. But I think even though they got ran over last night, I think overall Cleveland is better on both sides of the ball. So I would pick Cleveland. And like Tom said, there was a laughing stock a couple years ago. Even after Baker Mayfield got there, Cleveland was the type of team that win one game, two games. Now they're in the playoffs, and you gotta give this kid his flowers, man. People talk down about him, because they didn't like his personality and whatever. Let's let this kid shine now.
Yeah, obviously, at the end of the day, Cleveland has shown the vast improvement. They're going in the right direction, and I don't care what nobody says. The Ravens seem to be going in the wrong direction. If they could right this ship now and get back to where they are, people tend to forget they were the number one seed last year. You know what I mean? They was doing everything. The Ravens doing everything, and this year they barely about to make the playoffs. But let's switch gears a little bit. Talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Management this morning released a statement saying that Coach Mike McCarthy, he's returning to coach the Dallas Cowboys. Also, Dak Prescott's value we've talked about this before. Dak Prescott's value has gone up. But believe it or not, there's some sports talk radio that have been going around, and believe it or not, there was rumors and whispers that Dak Prescott in a year or two will not be a Dallas Cowboy. And Boston radio, not me, Boston radio is thinking that the Patriots are going to be in the mix for Dak Prescott. So, Talent, what do you think about Dak Prescott? Do you think about the situation? And what do you think about management saying that they're going to bring back Mike McCarthy? So you got a couple of questions right there.
Well, I understand the bring back thing, whatever. Again, that's the good old boy system. I get that. Right. Now, here's the thing. That question, the other question raises another question. Is Bill Belichick the Pat Riley of the NFL?
Yeah, he might be. Good question.
Let that sink in.
Might be. Good question.
Now, when I think back, you just that question made me think back to the last 4, 5, 6 seasons. I think Bill Belichick has become the Pat Riley of the NFL, meaning y'all done brought everybody in there.
Well, they always do that. They ain't changed that. They always do.
No, this has been way more interesting in the last 5, 6 seasons. When you talk about AB, even though it didn't work out and he's gone, but look at they've created a history in the last 6, 7 seasons of bringing in the troublemakers and playing them. Bro, whoever meets with Belichick plays.
Longer than that, you got Albert Hainsworth, you got Chad Ochocinco, you got the running back in the early 2000s. He came from Cleveland. They brought him in. They won a couple of Super Bowls when I forgot his name. The Patriots been doing it ever since Bill Belichick.
Prime time.
So you just confirmed my
I agree with
Pelican brief.
I agree with you. But can you answer
for the first time, Fig, I got a Pelican brief. I think Bill Belichick is the Pat Riley NFL. And saying that about Dak Prescott, I can see that.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. I'll go on the record right now. I can see, and I'm gonna say this both the record. I can see Belichick and the Patriots making a play for Dak Prescott and or Carson Wentz in the next 24 months. You know what I mean? If either one of them become available and they stop mixing and matching. Because like I said to you both off the air, Patriots have $100 million to work with in the next upcoming offseason. $100 million. You know what I mean? It's come off their books. And we all know the Patriots are not going to spend $100 million. They're going to mix and match. And being that the Eagles have a situation whereas they're going to probably grow with Justin Hurts, they're going to try to figure out how they're going to get rid of Carson Wentz. That's what it's going to be. But Fig, can you answer those same questions I just asked? Do you think Dak Prescott's value is going to go up, and it has been? Do you think Mike McCarthy is going to return? And where do you see Dak Prescott's future in the next upcoming, I say 14, 15 months?
It really depends on whether Jerry's willing to swallow his pride on both questions.
Oh, no, not going. He's not going to do that.
And the thing is that Jerry, Jerry is a two-edged sword when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Jerry makes them exciting and must-see TV because he's like Barnum and Bailey. You know what I mean? This is must-see. The Dallas Cowboys, the cheerleaders, the star in the helmet, the way they play, like he makes them exciting. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like when it comes to the NFL, it's the biggest show on earth. Mm-hmm. But then his ego is so big, he thinks he knows more football than the football minds, which is kind of crazy. He wants all of the credit, but guess what? Since you got rid of the football mind, you haven't won anything. Mm-hmm. Nothing at all. And you put these pawns in, which seems like Mike McCarthy is. He doesn't speak much. He seems like a shell of himself. You know what I mean? And he hasn't really done anything. And Dak Prescott, now that he got injured and you see what the team is without him, he was the brightest star on the Cowboys. And I think his stock did go up just because it's addition by subtraction. You removed him and the team is actually horrible. And nobody else that you bring in there can do what it is that he could do. So I think that unless Jerry swallows his pride and gives him the money that he's asking for, I think Dak is out of there.
Okay, so since
and I would love to see Dak in another uniform just to give it back to Jerry.
Since I brought up Carson Wentz, I don't think. Let me just say officially for the record, that Dak Prescott thing is very good possibility that he's not going to be a Dallas Cowboy. But on the flip side, or not the flip side of that conversation, but we also were talking about Carson Wentz. Rumors are flying around now that Carson Wentz is not going to be a Philadelphia Eagle because of obvious reasons, what's happening right now, especially if Justin Hurts plays better continuously. 4 teams have popped up where Carson Wentz can literally financially be able to go. The 4 teams are the Patriots, like I mentioned, the Broncos, the Colts, or the 49ers, because the 49ers are looking like they're going to move away from Jimmy G also. So you got those 4 teams in the mix. Carson Wentz on one of those 4 teams, talent. Which one of those 4 teams do you see him on after all the wheeling and dealing, and of course with the money being able to take it?
What I don't buy into him leaving yet. Remember yesterday, I think they're going to sit on him for a while. I don't think he's leaving like people think they are. So I can't really see him on another team, but I don't see him going to a bona fide winner if he does leave. I think Carson Wentz, because like we just talked about stock going up and Dak Prescott, stock went way down in Wentz. So I think that Wentz will end up on a mediocre to losing team if he leaves as opposed to a contender. I just think that. I don't think he's leaving, but if I'm wrong and he does leave, he's not going to a contender.
Okay. But he could turn the team around and make them a contender too, because Carson Wentz is not a bum. You know what I mean?
He's a bum. He's a bum.
I don't think he's a bum. But
he's a bum, Frank. He's a bum. He ain't been good since he came in the league, and 2 times in a row, your backup upstages you. That's no accident.
Woo. And that's a great point. Fig, what you think? You think Carson Wentz is a bum? And do you think he's going to land on the Patriots, the Broncos, the Colts, or the 49ers?
I just need to ask. We don't have a bomb sound because Tal just dropped the bomb.
No.
That's the
I don't
like 2 times your backup upstages you? That's whoa. That's a whoa moment. Here's the thing, man. I think the Colts are all right with what they have. if he goes to the 49ers, what's the difference between him and Jimmy Garoppolo? They're both injury prone. So you go from one injury prone quarterback to another injury prone quarterback. That doesn't sound wise. I think he could fit with the Patriots because Belichick is that dude. I think he could take the talent that Carson Wentz does have and make him better. And what was the other
Broncos.
I don't know about the Broncos. I think with his stock the way it is and the way he's been playing and the way he's been broken down, I think he needs a Belichick, a coach like Belichick, to bring him back. You know, to build him back up because I think he's shell shocked. You know, when you go out there as a young quarterback and you get beaten up by other teams and the defenders and you get injured and you know, it's like every time you see him, it's like he looks like a deer in headlights, like he's running for his life. And I think he needs a solid team and a solid organization to be able to, you know, put that battery back in his back and charge him up again and get him playing like he did when he was a rookie.
Okay. All right.
Good point.
I honestly, I agree with everything you said. If I look at all those 4 teams, I can see him landing on the Patriots, like I mentioned, but also because John Elway is a GM over at Denver, and you saw what he did when he got when he got Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? I can see him going to the Broncos also and doing well with the Broncos because John Elway knows what a quarterback needs. So I can see him doing Denver or the Patriots. But let me speak of.
Let me just say one thing to that, Frank.
Go ahead.
Peyton was a master, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing disputing that. Peyton's the master. But John Elway he made sure the offensive line was tight for Peyton Manning. Like, the offensive line was really, really good. Nobody talked about that. Talked about it. It was really, really good. And he gave him the key elements to keep moving the ball. And we all know when Peyton won that Super Bowl, he really didn't win that Super Bowl at all.
That was the defense.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So he knows what to do off the strengths of who he has if he gets somebody coming in. You can't knock that. You know what I mean? But since we're talking about quarterbacks, last question about football, I got to ask this. People are talking about Tampa Bay, talking about how they did such a great job. I haven't heard anybody say, you know what, they should have lost that last game because Minnesota Vikings missed 4 field goals. Now, I guess the question to you, Talent, is going to be, do you think that Tampa Bay is going to make some noise in the playoffs the way they're playing right now? You know, because if they can play better, and that's one. And the other thing is Antonio Brown over the weeks has been playing less and less and less. And right now, from the previous week to this past week, he played 50% of less snaps in the game. 50%. You know what I mean? They were like, so they're almost phasing him out. He had 5 targets. He still had like 85 yards, but they're phasing Antonio Brown out. So the way the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing right now, do you think that they could do some damage in the playoffs? I'm officially going to say,
yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I guarantee you they'll do damage. But here's the thing, Frank. As we wind down to get to the playoff time, those weeks, I don't think you can really look at it like phasing out. I think it's showing you other things to get your mind off of what we have. Mm-hmm. You're going to be facing teams, what we always talk about, doing the homework, watching the tape.
Right.
I think now it's they're pulling a 4-5. The president, king of master diversion, master of distraction. So I think I'm doing something different because everybody who's watching me, everybody who possibly got to meet up with me if I make the playoffs, they're watching tape. Mm-hmm. So at the end, the last few weeks, I'm going to do some trick plays and less carries over here, less throws over here, because I want people to start to watch the tape of other things. Mm-hmm. If I keep doing the same thing all the way to the playoffs, you get to lock down on those things. But if I start the master distraction, you know what I mean, and show you this, look over here. Ooh, I'm stealing potato chips over here. You know what I mean? I think they're taking a page out of 4-5's book, and I think the coaching and Brady are smart enough to go, you know what? We can't show our hand every time, all the time right now, because we're closer to the playoffs now. So we get in these playoffs, whoever's guaranteed doing their homework. You got to show different things.
Yeah. And that's something that the Patriots have always done. They'll show you one week one thing, and they'll show you another week something else, and another week something else. And Tom Brady has definitely, implementing a lot of their playbook of what he's used to to Tampa Bay. I'm just not sure if it's going to necessarily work. I mean, we'll see. Fig, what you think?
I had to think about and digest what Talon actually said, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old bait and switch. It's like, look over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you send two dark-skinned black guys into a grocery store and have them stand around the potato chips while you send the white guy in the back and he's walking out with a whole ham.
And we all know
possible,
that
man, but I don't listen. How the Patriots are winning, I mean the Patriots, good Lord, how Tampa Bay is winning is it's just it seems like they just getting by.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're not beating the really, really good teams. Like when you think about it, who did they really beat? You know what I mean? You like, are you beating the teams that are going to be in the playoffs or the contenders? Mm-hmm. I mean, and you should be a contender yourself because of look at all of the weapons that they have on the offense, on the defense. Like they have so many weapons. You know, when you have that many weapons and stuff like that, you know what people usually do? They look at the coach, mm-hmm. and they was like, "Why haven't you gotten more out of this talent that we hired and put on this field?"
Yeah, his head's on the
and that's what I'm looking at right now because we know Brady is a 6-time champion, arguably the GOAT. You got Antonio Brown, you got Gronk, you got all of these guys, and it's like, yo, why are we not better?
Yeah. He got a lot of stuff that he's working with. There's a lot of things
both sides, on the defense too.
Yeah, he got a lot of things he's going to work with. But let's talk about the NBA right now. Yesterday, I previewed the fact that I was going to talk about James Harden today. And honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of talking about this dude. But some news jumped up last night, actually 2 days ago, and a little bit of a hint jumped in. Here's the news. 2 days ago, I saw a couple of articles that saying James Harden was literally contemplating not playing and sitting out the season. I'm not sure if that's going to necessarily really happen because tonight he's rumored to be playing. He's practiced with the team. He's rumored to be playing, but he's a huge distraction. No matter how you shape it up, he's becoming a huge distraction for Houston Rockets. When you hear talent that he possibly is literally considering, just the consideration. Now that rumor didn't start from nowhere. You know what I mean? It came from somewhere. So I'll say to you, when you hear the rumor that he is necessarily contemplating sitting out the season, what's the thought that goes through your head hearing about James Harden and the Houston Rockets?
Well, first of all, I don't believe it. I think that, again, we talked about the similarities in James Harden with Kyrie Irving. They love to make the paper no matter what. You know, they're going to stay relevant. To me, that's a sign when you get to the what we call veteranship or tenure in your career, where these young guys are starting to get the headlines. So the older guys are going to get more creative on how they steal back some headlines. So he knows he's been doing it the whole offseason. Once he got booted out of the playoffs, didn't go that far. Now I need to stay relevant. Oh, I want to be traded. Oh, what are we going to do? I don't like this. Now, right now, what way to build up anticipation to watch your game than to start the rumor that I'm thinking about not playing?
Yeah, I
wasn't going to watch it, Frank. Now I'm going to tune in.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's how you do it. How about you, Vic?
Yeah, man, I am so tired of these guys throwing tantrums because that's basically what he's doing. He's doing, I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna take my ball and I'm going home because I don't want to play with you. Like, dude, you can play getting paid millions of dollars to play for this team. You either gonna honor your contract or you not.
Right.
It's simple as that, dude. Right. I don't know. Somebody said send him to the Knicks and let him sit out over there.
Yeah.
let him distract the Knicks from losing.
Why would you even repeat that?
That's hilarious.
I put on the screen
to see James in the Knicks uniform.
Yeah. Let's talk about Zion Williamson. Last night he debuted. Zion came out. He didn't have any minute restriction. You had 26 points, 11 rebounds. He did all that in 33 minutes, and they beat the Miami Heat, the youngest from the Miami Heat. So I expect Zion. Now, you know, we talk about we saw some flashes and everything else. Talent, I expect Zion to do some major damage this season, playing with Brandon Ingram and the Pelicans. I think they're going to make some noise. When you hear about Zion doing something like that last night, what's your thoughts?
I'm not a Zion believer yet.
What?
I say
Hey,
yet because at least
what?
I leave. I say yet because at least I leave it open. I'm not like you guys. I've never been that kind of guy that go ahead and give somebody greatness pat on the back before they became great. You still got to prove it. You got to do the thing. We can't go off last season because he didn't do nothing. Very minimum compared to the hype he came in with. This is preseason. We ain't even get halfway through some real games yet. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not hyped. I'm not sold. You got to show me something. You know what I mean? It's just like we talk about NFL. We talk about Pittsburgh. Oh, they 5-0. Oh, they 8-0. They 9-0. They gonna get their ass beat. Settle down. And they got their ass beat twice, back to back. Settle down. Same thing about Zion. Yeah, he's supposed to be. He got to consistently show. I'm just that guy. I'm old school in sports, bro. We never gave you nothing before it's time. We gave everybody hell. We gave Jordan hell for 7 seasons. We gave Magic hell for 2-3 seasons. I mean, you got to get in there, dude. The only dude that didn't get hell is Larry Bird.
Yeah, he came in winning.
Yeah, he came in winning. That's how you do it. He came
but that's what I'm trying to tell you. But here's the thing. Larry Bird not only came in winning, Larry Bird was doing his winning in a heavily dominated by black superstar league.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Vic, the same thing. So, and I'm gonna ask you the same thing that I asked Talent. Are you with him? Are you against it? What you thinking?
Well, the thing is, I think I'm not calling Zion Williamson anything like a superstar, anything like that. But what I do give him is the kid is box office. Mm-hmm. He's like and don't get me wrong. What I'm saying here, I'm trying to wrap it up. He's like LeBron James in the fact that people were tuning in, and his game was televised while he was in high school. LeBron James. So now you got Zion, who was an internet sensation long before he even got to college. And then when he got to college, his game was must see. Like that game where I said it a few weeks before, the game where he ripped his sneakers. Former President Barack Obama was sitting in the front row. Like these tickets were selling more than an NBA game.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to see him. It was the biggest hype around, and everybody came out to see this kid. So I'm giving him star quality because the kid is box office and he's must-see TV. Everybody wants to see what this kid can and what he will do. So I'm giving him that.
Everybody wants to see him because he showed flashes in college, a lot of it in college, and he showed flashes in the NBA. So
y'all keep saying the key word, college.
Right.
Until you get amongst these men and do the same thing you're doing in college, I can't pat you on the back with greatness yet. It's like a movie, dude. Here's the analogy. When you watch how many trailers have we seen? Like, ooh, I got to go see that. And the movie's garbage.
Yeah, you're right. Boy, you're making a lot of movie analogies today, Talent. Yo, man, but listen, I'm not giving him star quality. I'm not giving him star quality at all because I'm like you. You got to prove it to me first. I got to see it. But what I'm saying is the kid is box of it. Like everybody wants to see it. Is it? You know what it reminds me of? I was in the movies. I forgot what I was watching. Since you used the movie analogy, I was in the movie. I was watching when I forgot what I went to see. But the trailers came on in the beginning. And when the camera panned up, you saw Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and everybody in the movie theater went crazy. And that was Bad Boys 1. Everybody was like, yo, we got to see that. That's what this kid is now. He's a trailer. Like you said, he's a trailer, but the trailer is box office. It's like, you got to see it. I want to see what this kid is going to do next.
That's not the question. Frank's question was, watching him in this game, you think he's going to do that? And I don't know yet.
We know preseason is kind of hard to tell.
I know. We know he box office, though, Fig. Nobody arguing that. Right. It's a lot of box office dudes.
Right. He had flashes. He played 35 minutes. He did.
He played 35 minutes, 33 minutes. He got 26 points, 11 rebounds, unrestricted. Last season he was restricted a lot, and he still showed flashes. My point I'm trying to make is off of what we saw in college, what we saw in the first year, did we think he was going to do all that? But let me bring my man, Mr. Rodney Perry, in and see whether he's going to agree or disagree.
Hey, Frank, just so you know, Frank, I was in the playground yesterday. I played 38 minutes. I got 24 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 steals and 1 assist.
And you are
but you was playing against third graders.
And I'm going nowhere.
And you're a star. And you're a star in the playground basketball league. That's what you are. You're a star. Mr. Rodney Perry, we going to bring you in right now. How you doing, sir? How's everything?
I'm great, gentlemen. I had some errands to run, so a large part of the first half of the show I was driving. I heard you guys reference the great Baker Mayfield. Is he the truth?
Wow.
Baker Mayfield.
Can I just interrupt you, Rodney Perry? Just say this breaking news real
No.
fast?
I'm about to say that. Let me have it.
Okay, go ahead.
Giannis, that's the news you're talking about?
Yes, I am.
Giannis just did a deal. 200. How much? 200 million.
228
max
million.
deal.
Yeah,
with the Knicks.
with the Bucks.
No. Giannis Antetokounmpo signed 5-year, $228 million supermax extension with the Bucks, and that comes from Wojciechowski, whatever the name, and it's a super great deal. And so now you can probably look for, since he's locked in, you can look for some marquee dudes going to play with this guy. You know, I think. But again, let's not forget that Milwaukee is a horrible place.
Mm-hmm.
Just in general, as a place for humanity. No disrespect to our fans out in Milwaukee, but outside of Milwaukee's best, what? Anyway, speaking of another horrible city.
Did you say Milwaukee's best, the beer?
Yes. Outside of speaking of horrible cities,
It's very funny.
The Cleveland Browns. Look, I got friends that are Browns fans. My buddy David Arnold is a Browns fan.
But why?
He's from there. He's from Cleveland. The only reason. This is one of the tough places to be a fan of. Every year, they do this. They show flashes of finally arriving, and then they don't. I'm not buying this Baker Mayfield nonsense of him being the next. They're gonna find a way to get their butts whooped again. I don't believe it for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield's got a great name, but he plays for the Cleveland Browns.
Yo.
The last good player to achieve anything in a Browns uniform was Jim Brown, and he threw his wife off a balcony. Even when you win, you lose in Cleveland. Even when you win, you lose.
Why you say that like that? Why you say that like that's the greatest team?
He didn't just say that. He didn't just say that.
He threw his wife over a balcony.
Everybody forget about Jim Brown throwing that woman off the balcony like Jazzy Jeff. But anyway.
You got Lamar Jackson thoughts, Rodney Perry?
Look, man, y'all talked about Zion, and I think Fig is right. The guy's box office, but why? Why is he box office? Talent said the man is a trailer. Shouts out to Fandango Talent Harris. I learned a lesson today watching box seats. Don't be the trailer if your movie ain't good. Zion, everybody want to see him, but look, I thought he was bigger. I thought he was a 7-footer. He's not that big, and he's built like Tyler Perry. He's got no disrespect, Tyler.
That's disrespectful.
Talent said, yes, he's box office, but he don't have no rings. But every day, you guys find a way to besmirch the name of the great LeBron James. The man got rings. He got rings. He got rings. He got rings. And yet, you guys find a way to besmirch his name. I'm gonna double down on my theory that LeBron is the GOAT, maybe not in basketball, but he is again the semen GOAT.
Okay.
He is the semen GOAT. He has generated the best semen. Matter of fact, they should take his semen and put it in a little container and send it off somewhere. And matter of fact, this is how LeBron semen sounds. LeBron semen sound like little soldiers. Left 1, 2, 3, left 2, 3, 4, left 1, 2, 3, left 2, 3, 4. Cover that halt.
The word of the day is besmirched, by the way. Besmirched.
Besmirched, yeah.
Don't besmirch. Don't besmirch. But hey, I'm sure you guys covered tons of other things. I couldn't hear y'all when I was in the car. I broke laws to get back here, and I love the show. Box seats in the building.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you doing that. Let me just continue on with the conversation and ask you all this and start around this, and then I want to see if we got time to Giannis. But we'll probably talk more about Giannis tomorrow. Yeah, the other player that everybody's overlooking, I don't hear anybody mentioning about, is Ja Morant. So talent. You know, you said the same thing about Zion and everything else, but Ja Morant showed you a lot last year. I told you, I think he's going to be in the top 5, top 3 maybe considered for a breakout star, possibly considered in the MVP. That's what I think. Now, Ja Morant is a beast. That kid
MVP?
Top 5. I think he'll be considered the way he balled last year. He's going to only get better. You know what I mean? Last year was his rookie season, and he was definitely clearly the rookie of the year. I think he'll be in the top 5, maybe top 3, because his growth is going to be. And now he knows what he's balling. Now he knows the game a lot better. He's played in it and everything else. I mean, I think everybody's going to be overlooking this dude. I just think that's what's going to happen.
Well, hold on, Frank. Who is top 3? Who are the 2 people ahead of him? LeBron and who else?
It's got to be Giannis. Got to be Giannis, LeBron, and I think he's going to skip a couple of other people. You know what I mean? People who everybody's looking at, like maybe
Steph Curry. KD.
No, that's why I said top 5. KD might be in the top 5 next.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Maybe, but I'm only saying that because, again, the way he played last year, the boy could shoot the lights out. He definitely could pass. He could take it he does everything. And because he's in a horrible market, nobody sees him play like that. You know what I mean? And that's just how the ball goes. So I'm gonna throw it out there to you, Towns. Do you think he could be considered at least in the top 5 mix of possible MVP for the season? And if you disagree, hey, you disagree. We'll see. What you think?
No, I can't see that. I think we still got a ton of guys that still kind of got that on lock. It's going to be tough to break that this year. With guys like Damian going for it, Kevin Durant's back, Kyrie's in there. The usual suspects with the LeBron, the Kawhis, the Paul George, the Greek freaks, James Harden. It's going to be hard to break that usual suspect 10.
Yeah, it will be. I'm not doubting that. It will be. But every year, somebody comes. We all follow the NBA, we follow the NFL. Every year, there's a player who surprises us out of nowhere, and he comes out leaps and bounds. You know what I mean?
Frank, you got a better chance of 5 players getting Ebola. When the last time 5 players tested positive
on the same
team?
What you think, Vic?
Because the league will be focused mainly on the stars. Mm-hmm. Also because of the market that he's in. Unless they make some noise and start winning and just come out of nowhere, he won't crack the top. He probably won't crack the top 10 because of the players that talent name. The eyes are going to be on Paul George because he played so horribly. Kawhi Leonard, they're going to be looking at AD, LeBron James, Kyrie. They're going to be looking at KD because they're coming back off an injury. John Wall, Westbrook. John Morant got a lot of work to do.
But he can do it. I think he can.
He has the potential, but because it's I would give him not this year, but maybe the following year. Because it usually, like I always say, I don't care how good you are, unless you that super duper, unless you Magic, Bird, Jordan, Kareem. Yeah. There's only like a handful of dudes that just come in and just dominate.
Yeah,
those dudes,
he does.
It takes you about 2 to 3 years before people start paying close attention to you.
Shout out to Rodney Perry and Amir Sealy for just commenting and really enjoying the Ebola joke. How you come in so serious after that? That was very funny. So you kept your seriousness. Well, 30 years ago.
He always look in the air. He always look up.
Yeah.
Because I be thinking, man. I be thinking about what it is that I'm saying.
Me and Rodney was still laughing. You kept your Malcolm X. Let me tell you something. America's problem is what? That's why I hate telling jokes, man. People like that.
Rodney, what you think, man?
Frank, we've become fond of the Pelican brief, and this might be your worst theory all time.
Oh man, now they hitting me because I look up. Okay, all right.
This might be the very worst top 3, top 5. You know what? John Morant, Demetrius, Jamel, John Morant. Are you crazy, Frank? Are you losing your mind? You know who's got a better chance of being top 5 in the NBA? The 3-6 Mafia. They from Memphis. What about Juicy J? He's from Memphis. What about Yo Gotti? He's from Memphis. What about the owner of Chuckles Comedy Club?
Oh God.
Mr. Ware. Mr. Ware is 65. God. He's got a better chance of being top 5 in the NBA than John Morant.
Oh man.
Does anybody know his name? Demetrius.
I don't know his name. J.A. Morant.
Exactly.
J.A. Morant. That's all I know. John
Morant. His first name is Demetrius.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Here we go, Frank. I'm willing to go on record right now. There will never be a top 20 player named Demetrius.
And that's your Pelican brief. All right, let me ask you about another player. Let me ask all of y'all about another player. We all saw another player, and he did really well in the bubble. And people are expecting him this year to be his breakout year. I think, I'm going to go on the record saying this, I think last year was an anomaly. And that breakout star everybody's talking about is T.J. Warren for the Indiana Pacers. I don't think he's that good. I just thought it was an anomaly. I don't think he's as good as we saw last year. I think it was a mirage. That's even a better word. Rodney Perry, what you think?
I don't even know who that is.
That makes my point.
I don't know. Warren, T.J. Morris. T.J. what's his name?
T.J. Warren.
Yeah.
Who he played for? He played for who?
Indiana Pacers.
Didn't they just blow that team up?
No, he didn't blow that.
Played for the Mighty Ducks.
He might as well. Matter of fact, Baker Mayfield need a new tall receiver. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I agree. I think it might be an anomaly. I think a lot of it. See, that's what I'm saying. Like when you ask the questions of when somebody do something nice and be like, "Are they gonna?" You think they're gonna keep going? A lot of that is that, man. A lot of that is, you know. I always say this in every sport. These are grown professionals, so it shouldn't shock people when somebody had that night or that week where they had it. They just in their bag. You know, they can do no wrong. They drop 45 points. Do I expect that person to give me 45 a game? Hell no. I don't even think they're gonna get 45 touches after this.
Yeah, I agree. You know
but it's that night. They're in their bag. It's like the same thing with comedy. You know, how many times we're in a comedy club and we see that guy that always stink it up, he getting laughs tonight. You start looking at the crowd individually, like, what's wrong with these people? It's that night.
I like how Tyler didn't use a comic to say it's like this comic used the name is getting laughs tonight.
Oh, we can name some names.
No,
now.
because the last time I threw a name out, my whole show shut down. The whole box seat did like this on me. I said that Kevin Hart shit was trash. Everybody said, everybody look big. They did that right there. Big started looking around the house for shit to do.
And Rodney Perry said, let's move the conversation on. Let's not talk about that. Let's move the conversation. Frank, what you think? TJ Warren?
TJ Warren need to go hang out with TJ Maxx and TJ Houshmandzadeh.
Houshmandzadeh?
Football Houshmandzadeh, TJ Houshmandzadeh. Yo,
Hilarious.
man, TJ Warren, man, listen, he's in purgatory, man. No, this like John Moran. Nobody paying attention to Indiana right now. Mm-mm. They got rid of A-Star. You know what I mean? They got rid of either they got rid of him or they trying to get rid of Oladipo. Once he's gone, like, dude, it's a wrap. Ain't nobody paying attention. There's too many big stars and comeback players in the NBA right now that are box office already for you to pay attention to these other players unless they do something extraordinary. You got to have a breakout year like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry or something like that. Ain't nobody gonna pay attention to these dudes.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I can't even disagree. I will say this. There's certain dudes who, when they do it and you ain't done it all year and you only do it in the bubble, people are not going to believe what they see until they see you do it on the court in front of fans. It's just going to be the way it is. He didn't do nothing like that special until he got on the court and fans. But you know what, y'all? That's our show. I can't wait till tomorrow because I need to talk about the Giannis deal, the Supermax contract, and see how it's going to affect everybody else. Because we talk about the trade. He might go to Miami. He might have gone to Golden State. He might have did this. He might have did that. Nobody is even talking about. He's a man of his word. He said
that was all you getting word. That was all you getting word.
I said he might stay. I said he's from Africa. Yeah, he might stay. I said that.
Hey, listen, no, Frank was the only one talking about, but it's the 21st around the corner. Don't besmirch the name of the Greek.
I like that. Now, everybody out there, how they can follow you if you want them to follow you today.
Don't follow me today.
Don't follow you.
Not today. Not
today. Okay, Rodney, how about you?
Me either. Sick of it. I'm looking behind me and somebody follow me.
I'm about to do these edibles. Don't follow me. You want to go to jail too? Don't follow me.
Too?
Big, how about you?
You can follow me on Rodney Perry's website and talent social media pages because I ain't gonna be on mine. Yeah. You can find me at Rodney Perry Live. That's at RodneyPerryLive.com. That's where I'm gonna be. And
everybody
and Monday through Friday, I'm on the box seats, baby.
Tell everybody tomorrow who our guest is gonna be.
Oh man, we're gonna get to talk some nice fighting stuff tomorrow. You know how people say, yo, those are fighting words? Well, tomorrow we got the champ. You know what it is. It's Shannon, aka Cannon Briggs, coming on here, aka hashtag Let's Go Champ.
We're gonna talk boxing. I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna talk some boxing tomorrow. We're gonna talk about to Shannon. We have to talk to Shannon about the Tyson fight. We got to talk to him about.
Shannon was in that conversation at one point, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, man. They and with that
Mike Tyson didn't want none of Shannon.
Yeah, Mingo. We're gonna ask him about that tomorrow. We're gonna ask him about that. We're gonna talk about Floyd Mayweather and that Floyd Mayweather so-called fight that's coming up. We're gonna talk about that. We got to talk to him about Date Robinson. We got to talk to him. We got to ask him a lot of questions about boxing tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, that's the show. The show's called The Box Seats. We're on every Monday through Friday from 1 to 2. And if you don't know, now you know. We are also on the platform called The Humor Mill. And of course, if you know, The Humor Mill is a channel. It's an urban comedy channel. And we are on Android and iOS. And we are also on cable. Call your cable service provider if you don't see it on your box. Until then, we'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see y'all.